supposed to do a little bit earlier, but we're here now. We got some pulls in, got some things that happened, and now we're able to do a full breakdown. Hopefully, you remember everything.
We'll take it from the top. I posted a couple videos of this build on my Instagram page of like the 4 stages of it over the last couple years. The very first time I ever took it to the dyno, full bolt-ons, which was cold air intake, header, exhaust, and a tune. The car made like 211 horsepower out of the 5-speed automatic. So the first time I ever took it to the dyno, I made 211. Had that rocking for a couple years and it was cool, but I wanted a little bit more power. So after that, I wanted to try out nitrous. So this car was actually on nitrous for a short period of time. On nitrous setup, I had a lot of complications with it. I don't know if it was me, the nitrous, or what was going on with it. But I had issues with the nitrous bottle like not heating up or not getting a good enough spray. On the nitrous setup, I made like 260 horsepower and I just kept having issues. So I went to go race Bone Stock 350Z one night and like he beat me, but just barely. And I'm like, I just spent all this money on a nitrous kit, I got to retune, and I'm like, yeah, this ain't happening. So I ended up selling the nitrous kit and buying a CX racing kit off of eBay. It was the log style manifold. And for those of you who don't know log style versus sidewinder, the log style is the one that goes behind the engine. It's a very short manifold and the turbo sits right behind the engine bay. And then from that kit, ran into a lot of issues installing it. Once I did install it, I made I think like 303 or 313 horsepower on that kit. It was good for a short time. I ran into an issue where I didn't know much about turbos at the time and I put the vacuum line on the wrong port on the wastegate. So it sent all the boost out and completely grenaded the engine. So after a long period of time, I took it to a shop to have them put the engine in for me, and the shop completely destroyed my car. At that time, they had it for almost a year and like nothing was done to the car. At that time, that's when I picked it up, brought it to my house and just started learning how to work on cars myself. From there on, I just started doing everything on my own because I would not trust anybody to touch my car ever again from that point forward. After I got the car back up and running, I still had the log style manifold at the time. And then I found a deal on a sidewinder, which is the one that's on the side of the engine. Once I got that one, I redid my turbo kit. I still had the CX Racing intercooler and piping and a CX Racing sidewinder, CX Racing turbo. At that point, I just had a custom downpipe and dump tube on the vehicle. That did me good for 5 years almost. I had a lot of good time with that one and not very many issues with that setup. The car made, I believe, 323 horsepower on 8 PSI. The log manifold made 14 PSI at like 313, I believe. So the sidewinder definitely makes a lot more power than the log manifold does. If you're ever going to Turbo TSX, I definitely recommend doing a sidewinder. Save the time, save the money, get it done the first time. There's nothing wrong with the log style manifold, it's just for power gains, it's not ideal. After we ended up doing that turbo setup with the sidewinder, I saved up some money over time and wanted to build my turbo kit from scratch. So over time, I started saving up parts and money. I started off with the turbo, then I started the sidewinder, got my intercooler, just one thing every year for Black Friday. So ever since 2020, I've been slowly building this version of this vehicle now. After I got everything acquired, I took it to a friend of mine who was a fabricator and started doing the downpipe, the exhaust, and everything custom from one. I wanted a one-of-one kit that nobody else had for their TSX, and it's definitely the right way to go. It makes it so much easier to work on your car, and if you're doing a turbo kit, I recommend saving the money and doing it from scratch. Don't buy a pre-made kit. Yes, they will work. You will run into issues. All right, I'm gonna try to do a build breakdown on everything I have done to this car. We're gonna start off with the turbo kit just because that's what I most recently did on this car, so it's fresh in my mind. Let me get that out of the way. Like I said, I've been slowly buying parts over time. I bought one thing each year. So starting off with the sidewinder is a Speed Factory Racing K-Series sidewinder, paired with a Boost Lab 5757 turbo, with a Speed Factory Racing, I think 800 horsepower intercooler. All of the intercooler piping, downpipe, and exhaust is all custom. Wastegate and blow-off valve are both Tial. I believe wastegate is the 44 and then 38 on the blow-off valve. I actually did buy a exhaust kit for the car. It's the True Bend kit. Wasn't perfect, but I had taken it to a fabricator who made it work for this car. So True Bend all the way back to a dual style K-tune muffler, turn down exhaust. That's it for the turbo kit. So back in the tank, we have a Walbro 450 fuel pump. I ripped out all the lines on the car and have all -8 AN lines, and for the feed, and -6 AN for the return. All of my lines and fitting I get off Amazon. Everything's Evil Energy off of Amazon. I personally have never had any issues with them, their company, their fittings, anything like that. Everything has worked for me, I've never reused their fittings. I always buy brand new ones, but for me, it's always worked for my application and setup. The fuel lines coming to the car on a K-tuned fuel rail with a K-tuned fuel regulator going back to the tank. Injectors are 2000cc Denso injectors. The engine is a K24A engine. I had blown up my previous A2 engine that came with the TSX, so this one's a K24A engine. Stock block, besides the oil pump, I have a 4-piston racing ported oil pump in the bottom end. That's it for the bottom end. The top end is built, semi-built. It's on stock cams, stock cam gears. The only thing I have in the head is ARP head studs, SuperTech everything. SuperTech 80-pound dual springs, titanium retainers, titanium valves, valve seats, and valve keepers. That's it for the head and the bottom end itself. Intake manifold I'm running on the car is the Skunk 2 Pro series, kind of like the RBC series or RBC intake manifold. It's kind of the same, I think, but that's what I run on this car. It works for me perfectly. A lot of my titanium stuff I get from all over the place. A lot of it's from either DC5 Creations or JDC Titanium. That's where I get a lot of my nuts and bolts from. For cooling system, nothing's really upgraded as far as cooling. The thermostat that I have on this car is actually a Mishimoto racing thermostat for this vehicle. Pair that with a K-tuned upper coolant housing on it, and then a Koyorad radiator. It is an automatic. I do have a Koyorad radiator on this. It is possible to do. The only thing you need to do is add an external transmission cooler, because the automatics come with one built into the stock radiator. So if you switch to a Koyorad one, you have to put an external transmission cooler. You guys have probably seen the video of me on the dyno most recently. I did upgrade my motor mounts. We have solid mounts now, so the engine is staying in place. Good upgrade. Besides the actual solid mounts, I also have a billet transmission mount. Shout out to Lewis at Backyard Shits for making the TSX transmission billet aluminum mount. There are 2 questions I get asked about this car constantly. One, this headlight. I will drop a link in the description for you guys to check out where and how to get this headlight. Number 2, what have I done to this automatic transmission to hold all this power? Well, first you gotta drop it. Upgraded torque converter, upgraded this, upgraded that. I'm just kidding. I have done absolutely nothing to this transmission. The only reason I added the transmission cooler was because I switched to a Koyorad radiator, because I like the way they look and they cool a little bit better than the stock ones. Besides that, there is nothing done to this transmission. No upgraded torque converter, no upgraded internals, nothing. It is a bone stock automatic transmission. With that being said, go put a turbo on your automatics. It will hold. This is your proof. I don't know why everybody keeps wondering what I've done in the transmission, because I have done nothing to this transmission. Proof is in the pudding. Little nitty-gritty stuff that are on this car. A lot of it's for looks, a lot of it's for show that I just like. A couple of things going on here. Skunk 2 intake manifold, K-tuned fuel rail, K-tuned fuel regulator, K-tuned dipstick, and the oil cap. K-tuned 4-bar map sensor is what I have on this vehicle. Drag Cartel chain guides, Drag Cartel VTC strainer. Oil catch can I have is mounted in the corner right down here. It is a Speed Factory Racing manifold. I'm moving on to my suspension now. About to redo some of my suspension, mainly just my coilovers. We're about to upgrade to some BC Racing coilovers. Right now, the car is on True Heart coilovers. They've been on there for about 8 years. They've been doing great. K-tuned front camber kits with spherical bushings. K-tuned rear camber kit, spherical bushings. K-tuned rear tow arms. The car is tuned on Hondata Flashpro. I get that question asked a lot as well. It's a stock 2007 Acura Tsx automatic ECU. Plug in the Hondata and you're good to go. It's about it for a lot of the parts that are on the vehicle. As a Unit 2 fabrication oil pan, baffled oil pan on the bottom. One last thing before we go. Billet aluminum radiator holders. Backyard Shits, once again, along with his mount and his headlight.
The homie Lewis. And about the headlights, the brackets right here for your radiator support, and then the transmission mount in there. He's the only one that makes like a solid mount for us. He's got the right hand drive boosted TSX as well. I think he has 2? I don't know, man. He's always doing something. So.
Going over just cosmetic mods here. VIS Racing vented carbon fiber hood. I just picked this up off Marketplace actually. Had a PPF and then slapped it on. For my headlights, I believe these are the J7 headlights. No, they're not the Euro R blue ones. I didn't want the blue. For me personally, I just didn't really want blue on blue. I wanted clear ones. So I got the clear ones. I believe they're the J7 ones from Germany, is what I believe it is. Aspec lip, that's gonna be going for sale. I'm gonna be changing to a Euro R1. That's it for the front. Interior, interior's got a lot. With the steering wheel, it's an LED screen, endless RPM. They did the carbon fiber steering wheel and the carbon fiber buttons for me. Very, very good customer support. I cannot recommend them enough. The JDM steering wheel airbag, that's just very hard to find. I got lucky in one of the TSX marketplaces online. You can find them, but they're getting pretty pricey up there. Original Euro R floor mats down there, along with the original Euro R seats as well. The only real carbon fiber in the car at the moment is the steering wheel, center console, and the shift bezel. The shift bezel and the center console are from West Coast Carbon Fiber. The Android screen that I get asked about, every one of these screens has their pros and cons, their ups and downs, right? No, they are not perfect. They are relatively smooth, they do the job. All right, so a couple things on the interior of this vehicle. This is the LED screen with the Hondata on it. You can put all your gauges up here, and the screen flashes yellow when it's going to shift. It's super nice, super convenient. I like to have this up while I'm driving. Another big question, the gauge pod that's up here is from Ortiz Custom Pods. They used to have an Instagram, they don't any longer, but you can still find them on their website. They make either single ones, double ones, triple ones. They make them for the top right here as well. That's where you can find a pod for the TSX. My gauges up here are all AEM boost gauge, AFR gauge, and oil pressure gauge. And down here temporarily, I have a trans temp gauge to keep track of the temperature on the transmission.
We went to hit boost and no boost.
Oh yeah, it is that one?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I seen it, I'm like, but you're moving it, it seemed like it was still kind of on there. We broke down. Oh no. So there was a pull loading up, but then this happened. Turbo stuff. Something that I haven't experienced yet, but it happened on the dyno too, and we were like, oh shit, but that was when his whole engine almost took out the damn car. So he has solid mounts now, y'all. He's got solid mounts. What is going on, guys? It is your boy Rish with the homie Dan here, running it back from the dyno day. Finally able to meet up again, do a little bit of rips and stuff, check out the car, go through the build list, see what's popping, enjoy the vibe with the car. Nice boosted auto TSX, dealing with a little bit of things already. You guys will see in the video, but nothing crazy, nothing too crazy. He's still driving.
Dude, I tried to make a U-turn and my car died on me.
Oh,
mid U-turn. I was like, no!
Holy shit, yeah, that's the hit. That's what we were trying to feel on that highway.
When the sun goes down, she boogies. She boogies.
Damn, that feels good.
She boogies. That's insane work.
Yeah, it's usually avoid shit was nice, bro.
I never take a day off, work around the clock, my engineer getting paid off. Rock like Ace up, like the weed and take off.